when Hanumanji took a giant leap from India, flying through the air at great speed towards Lanka, at that time he was faced with 3 obstacles. The first one was procrastination. The second one was fear. And the third one was jealousy. Knowledge is power. This we have all heard. But what the Hanuman Chalisa teaches us is that knowledge alone is insufficient. In the Hanuman Chalisa, Hanumanji is described as Gyan Guna Sagar, one who is an ocean, not just of knowledge, but also of virtues. Gyan is like nuclear power. But the ability to decide whether to use that power to create light and give electricity to millions of homes, or to create a weapon that will destroy millions of lives, that ability is guna, or having the right virtues. But now Goswami Tulsidas ji introduces us to a third quality, which is having the presence of mind to act in an appropriate way in any given situation, also known as cleverness or chatur. Goswami Tulsidas ji writes, Vidyavan guni ati chatur, Ram kaj karibe ko atur. One who has all knowledge, Vidyavan, who is also virtuous in every way, Guni, and has the presence of mind to act in the right way at the right time, Chatur, is always employing all these 3 in the service of Bhagavan Shri Ram. Now, when we say Vidya, we translate it as knowledge. But there is a much deeper origin and meaning for Vidya. Vidya shares its root word Vid with the Vedas. The Vedas are the source of all knowledge within Hinduism. Now we know that there are 4 Vedas: Rig Ved, Sama Ved, Yajur Ved and Atharva Ved. These 4 Vedas have many sections. They have Brahmanas, they have Samhitas, they have Aranyakas and so on. But if we are to understand the Vedas, we can say that each Veda has 3 sections. Karma Kand, which is the worshipful aspect of the Vedas. Upasana Kand, which is the reflective hymns within the Vedas, and Gyan Kand, which is the philosophy contained in the Upanishads, which is the highest knowledge of the Vedas. But Vidya means more than just these 4 Vedas, and each Veda having 3 sections. Vidya also includes Upavedas, which are addendums to the Vedas. There are 4 Upavedas: Ayurveda, which looks at the science of health; Dhanurveda, which looks at the science of warfare; Gandharva Ved, which looks at art of music; and Sthapatya Shastra Ved, which looks at the science and art of architecture. You thought 4 Vedas, each with 3 sections, and 4 Upavedas were enough? Wait, there's more. In addition to the Vedas and Upavedas, there are 6 Vedangas. These are the limbs of the Vedas where we can use the knowledge in our day-to-day life. Shiksha, which is Sanskrit phonetics; Chanda, which is Sanskrit meter; Vyakarana, which is Sanskrit grammar; Nirukta, which is Sanskrit etymology; Kalpa, which are rituals; and Jyotisha, which is astronomy. Such is the breadth of knowledge contained within the Vedas alone. And all this knowledge is with Hanumanji. Now just think for a second. We get a little bit of knowledge in a limited field, and how big is our ego? Hanumanji has every knowledge but still continues to be humble. How? Because he is doing Bhagwan's work. Ram kaj karibe ko atur. This is something he never forgets. But wait a second, we've only discussed Vidya. What about Guni and Chatur? This quality of having all of the virtues and being able to use the knowledge in the right way is shown in the story where Hanumanji jumps from Bharat to Lanka. Now, I won't go much into the backstory, but we'll have an opportunity to discuss it at another date. when Hanumanji took a giant leap from India, flying through the air at great speed towards Lanka to find Sita Maa and give her the message that Ramji is coming. At that time, he was faced with 3 obstacles which we all face in our endeavors to do something great. The first one was procrastination. The second one was fear. And the third one was jealousy. The first one is represented by Mainak Parvat. As Hanumanji was hurtling through the air, what emerged from the water was a giant mountain. And that mountain requested Hanumanji, "You're doing something great. Why don't you pause a while? Look, we've got so many facilities on the mountains. Why don't you stop?" But Hanumanji's response was, "I am doing Bhagwan's work. I cannot waste a moment." In the same way, when we try and do something great, the first obstacle is procrastination. We want to pause. Why can't we do it later? Let's take a short break. Hanumanji's example tells us this is the wrong thing to do. And the best way to deal with procrastination is to say thanks, but no thanks, and keep on moving. The second obstacle that comes in our way is that of fear. And in this story, as Hanumanji is hurtling through the sky at great speed, out comes a giant naga or serpent known as Surasa, who stops Hanumanji in her path and says, "Ha, now I have got my meal." Hanumanji says, "I will happily come back and enter your mouth, but let me go do my work first." But Surasa is not one to let him pass. She says, "I'm going to eat you at any cost." Hearing this, Hanumanji realizes that if she genuinely meant to eat him, she would have already eaten him and not engaged in any conversation. And so in response to her threat, Hanumanji increases his physical size. As he increases his size, Surasa opens her mouth even wider. And then he increases it more and she opens her mouth even wider until we are left in this comical scene where Hanumanji has assumed a gigantic form and Surasa has opened her mouth as wide. And seeing her mouth wide open, Hanumanji instantly changes his size from gigantic to tiny, enters her mouth and exits immediately. And he says to Surasa, "Hey Ma, I entered your mouth. Now please let me go." This story tells us that fear, like Surasa, is there just to scare us, but it cannot harm us. If we, like Hanumanji, recognize that this fear cannot harm us, if we realize that fear is simply false emotions appearing real, then we are able to get beyond fear. This is how Hanumanji gets beyond his second obstacle of fear. And finally, as he is heading towards Lanka, in complete focus of his goal of getting to Sita Maa, he is stopped in his tracks and pulled down with magnetic strength into the water by Ravan's sister Sinhika. Sinhika represents jealousy. And every time we are doing something great, we will be stopped and pulled down by jealousy. And this is not just the jealousy of others, but we will be pulled down by our own jealousy towards those who are further ahead than us on the path. Hanumanji gives us the most appropriate response to respond to this jealousy, which is he destroys Sinhika in one move. So if we want to overcome our own jealous tendencies, we have to realize that direct action is required. And that direct action is to confront our mind and go to the root of this jealousy and get rid of it. We do that how? Through Nama Japa, by remembering the Lord's name and realizing that the divine in us is the same as the divine in the other person. And therefore we pull out our jealousy by its roots. Now you may think, how did Hanumanji assimilate so much knowledge? How was he able to act on all his virtues? How was he able to know how to respond in the right way at the right time? Goswami Tulsidas ji gives us the secret. Ram kaj karibe ko atur. Because all of his work was an act of service towards the divine in his heart, Bhagwan Shri Ram. And we too are given this secret through which we can not just obtain knowledge, but deploy it in the most perfect way. Let's make sure that all of the work that we do has some element of service to it. And the best way to serve those around is for us to recognize the divinity in them. These are not just simple words. These principles of success in the Hanuman Chalisa can be brought into our lives by reading and chanting the Hanuman Chalisa itself. So if I have one request from you, is to please find a recording of the Hanuman Chalisa that you connect with and start chanting it. And as you chant it, reflect on these lessons from these videos, which if you have found valuable, then make sure you share with someone else. And if you want to watch more such videos on the Hanuman Chalisa, be sure to subscribe to our channel. This is a small step for you, but makes a big difference to us. My name is Dhumatkar, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon with the secrets of success from the Hanuman Chalisa. Namaste.